studied at Trinity College and St. Anthony's College, Kandy, and I started pretty early. I started as a medical representative when I was 19 years old, and I started off at GlaxoSmithKline Limited, which became GlaxoSmithKline later on. So I was there for 10.5 years, and from there I moved into Hemas, and there I worked for another 10.5 years. And this year I joined Delmage. So total right throughout marketing in the pharmaceutical industry, and I'm here for almost 22 years in the marketing arena. During my A levels, actually, I want to enter the university, so I did bioscience. So when in the first try itself, I didn't. Though I got through my A levels, it was not enough for me to enter the university. So then I looked at choices which field I can explore and grow. So the choices were either marketing, accountancy, or banking were the three choices I had then without entering a university. So relatively, I chose marketing, which is a field that I would love or like to be then. So then I like the field. I'm still sticking on to it. Because that when you start off as a medical rep, you know what's happening on the field, what are the expectations. So when you're at a higher level, some of the basic things which is expected from a medical rep, I exactly know. Especially some of the when you straight off get into the management, some people may not empathize with the lower level, what's happening, what exactly is expected, and some of the real problems that they undergo. So that helps me at this stage, and then I didn't get this free or fast. I underwent the mill. I started a medical rep, getting to the coordinator level, became a executive, product manager, senior manager, business development manager, country manager, and then only I came to this. So every level, step by step, it was hard work, sweat, sacrifice, all that which had gone in. At Hemans, when I came from Glaxo, it was a totally new environment, and of course, the culture was totally different. And the business that I was assigned was the country manager is for two US based agencies. One was Allergan and Abbott Medical Optics, which are US based organization which market eye products. And at that time, both the organization were not performing well. Actually, at one time, Hemas had an issue whether to close down, whether to run it or not. And if I may mention the figures, the annual turnover was just 27 million, negative growth on paper. This was in 2002. And the question mark was, are we to continue or not? But then I took up the challenge because I had no choice. I made a move to AMRs. I need to prove myself. Then, not even 1 or 2 years, I had a challenge, and we had this brainstorming session with the Indian principals where to take. And I said, I want to achieve 50% market share for this particular segment. And even they were surprised. I sure, because current market share was 11% then with a negative percent growth. I said, yes, I want to achieve 50% market share. Then I said, can you put on? I said, yes. I said, it's a vision. Let's work towards it. Anything we can going up is better for us. We may not achieve, we may not. But then in 2011 December, that became true. The IMS figure, right? We achieved that 50% market share, getting that number one slot, year on year growing above the market share, and some of the sub segments we were growing the market. So that was one of the biggest achievement I had at Hemas. And the 27 million turnover in 2002, at the time of resign, when I resigned this financial year at ending March, it was 800 million in 10 years. So that's the achievement I had. The market share, we became number one, or Hemas for those two agencies, it became number one. So that was some significant growth which was there in the last 10 years at Hemas. Of course, whenever I look for performance or when I have to achieve, I have my own, coming from the marketing, I go with these 7 P's. But what I believe is you need to be different. Only the people who differentiate from one another or from competition who makes the difference. So what I do is differentiate in all 7 P's. And most often I find it difficult to differentiate in price, because most of the product coming from US quality product, price is something that you can match, because Sri Lankan or in this economy people expect that to be lower in price. So that's the only P I find it difficult to differentiate. So when the other 7 P's go right, and if you can differentiate them, then that gives the growth and the performance for organization. So that include people, and for me, people are the main element who make or break companies. Actually, the organizations today, you name it anywhere, is the people who make or break organizations. So first you differentiate people, which one of the 7 P's. Products you differentiate from others. Processes you differentiate from others. Promotions you differentiate from others. Distribution place you differentiate from others. Physical evidence you differentiate. If possible, why not the price? But most often when all these come together, prices we may pay up too high. But today's consumers, they are willing to pay a price when you are willing to differentiate and give a thing. And for me, people element is a key. Thing is, one of the things I didn't get allow them to follow. I prefer to create leaders. They say in Sri Lanka, a lot of people say leaders and they expect the whole bunch to follow you. But actually, how many of us allow them to play the leadership role? So that's something I focus. But one thing I was very clear in what I want to do. So if I want to achieve the 50% share, I share with them. This is my vision. I never said I want to achieve 50% and ask them to achieve 60%. So one thing I'm very clear what I want to do, and communication, being transparent, giving the ownership, giving the right recognition. Recognition in Sri Lanka means not only just a certificate, but also financially people need to benefit. I think that plays a critical role because we are not from US or UK. Just to say a recognition letter would motivate them. I think money goes well with that. So where possible, I used to fight with the management, get that special incentive, because earning extra sales means you're earning extra profit. So why not that be part of it? So there are so many instances I fought with my bosses or the top management to get that extra incentive, which plays very well. So that, and giving the due credit, and they take in the role, and with the organization when they grow, then you identify. And of course, once you identify, which is very rare. I mean, today even to get a medical rep, the right guy, is very very difficult. So one of the formulas I follow is when I recruit. Sometimes people do make judgment on recruitment from biodata. So when you get 100 biodata, they select 10. I ask how, without even seeing, how can you select people from biodata? So I call everyone. So people think I'm crazy. If I get 88 biodata, I call 88. All 80, entire 88, I spend at least 2 minutes per person. So at the 2 minutes, I make judgment whether he'll be the right guy or not. Who are interested, I either continue or call them for another interview. So that's another way I pick good people, and once I identify, once again I repeatedly say it's very difficult to pick the rare and the right person, but if you can get, yes, they are your winners, they who contribute towards your success. For me, more than managing products or organization, handling people is the toughest task. It's one of the things, because one of the reason is people keep on changing. Your product doesn't keep, say I sell a product, or the organization, it doesn't change. But why people is most difficult? People keep on changing. It's not the yesterday's person who is today, today's person who is not tomorrow, and their level of motivation keep on changing. So of course, then one of the thing a lot of people don't like in me is I'm quite blunt and straight. I tell anyone, be it my subordinate, be it my peer, be it my superior, whatever I have to tell, I tell it to the face. So one thing, the subordinates know, they know what exactly this guy means, and when they make a mistake, I tell it off. When they do well, I tell. So whether they like it or not, I tell. So same way, I also read them, I listen to them. So based on situation, my style keep changing. Some they like, some they don't like, but end of the day, I keep telling them, and these are confrontations and argument. And one thing I ensure the subordinate is, just because you have an argument, that doesn't mean they'll get penalized, because some of the bosses in Sri Lanka, the problem is you get penalized, your increment or your promotion get hampered. So that's something I don't allow them to happen. And I never take these isolated individuals. So if I take my former workplace, the highest increment and the highest number of promotion was given to the person who had the highest number of arguments, heated arguments, who got. And in fact, when I left, I said he's the most suitable person to take as a country manager, and he got it. And MD asked whether we should advise and advertise and take it from outside. I said no. So that's how I think that method worked well, and I'm continuing, and it works fine. Not only at again at home, even they know, I know what this man is thinking, what he wants. Children know what he is thinking, and he knows if I say yes, yes, if I say no, no. So that helps because when you're in suspense and when you don't know what you mean, it's really difficult, and none of the people or subordinates or anyone don't want to live in ambiguity or keep guessing. Actually, certain things still I'm adapting to myself, and it was a big thing to be honest. Actually, at Hamas, once the achievement came and when the scores things start ticking, when the sales started coming to a certain extent, I was also going into my comfort zone. I took things started happening, and so coming back again. That's why even my wife was, "Are you going to sure you're going to change your job?" I said, "Yes, I want to throw myself out and take that challenge again." And here it was a totally a tough job for me, and when you are the CEO, when you sit in this position, if you don't deliver the numbers, because when you come to boardroom, though we say customer is the king and all these big marketing jargon, boardroom see only profits. And when you are taken a loss-making entity, it's quite a tough job. And then you can't, being the CEO, you alone can't deliver profits on your own. You have to take your team alone. So when people are new, when the team is new, and in my case there are 3 SBUs under me, I have 2 teams with 2 different cultures. I have a medical equipment team with one culture. I have my pharma team with a different culture. So it's a totally a different one. So, but how I do is I get them involved. First they need to understand me, so I gave some time, but then initially certain things I need to set myself example. So one of the things when I came, then say for example, if a person is not coming on time and going on time, initially I didn't say anything. Initially the first few weeks or first few months, or for that matter even now, I should come at 7 o'clock and go till at 11 o'clock, and some even branded me as 7-11. So that started talking automatically to some people. Some people who are not working during daytime started working in the evenings. I didn't say anything. So that sort of change I see or saw, and people know that this is what is expected. The culture is changing, performance what is expected, then getting the review. So that's what I saw, and I think still we are in the process of changing and turning the ship around. One of the things is focus. I think when the one cluster which changed, I would say there are many subdivisions of sales unit. When you start focusing, which are your put them in a whatever the theories that you studied, either UNs of matrix or BGC matrix or whatever it is, you just focus which are the products which can sell in a quick phase, which will have sustainability long term, which also will deliver the profit accepted by customers. You just focus on them, that in selecting product. Then out there in the market, who are the customers? Like if you have 100 customers, follow your 80-20 principle. So you match your internal with external environment, and if you match it, then you are going for a quick growth. And even that's exactly what I'm doing for the other SBU, which is not making profit. But one new thing I introduced, coming from the learning of famous, is we are introducing our own brand in pharmaceutical, because we are used to this principal business. You bring from there and sell. So why not our own brand? So we already in these 9 months we have launched 2 of the own brands in pharmaceuticals. So we are introducing, building, hopefully one day even go for our own manufacturing. I mean, there are only 8 manufacturers in Sri Lanka, and pharmaceutical market is 48 billion. So that's huge. So why not we manufacture? We have the expertise, we have the know-how, so why not locally? So we started the initial step to get into our own brands, which is one of the initiatives that I brought into this organization. Maybe in 2 to 3 years to start up our own manufacturing as well, so that they are all made in Sri Lanka. At least whatever the molecules you can manufacture in Sri Lanka. There are other heads who are there. I don't know whether it's my bad habit, but I do get involved at low level. So, for example, if there's a sales, for sales, we have a national sales manager. So, every business entity, we have the business manager or marketing manager. So, I allow them to take decision. I said, you run the show. But that doesn't prevent me go out on the field, wear a helmet, get into the bike and work with the sales rep. I do that. But of course, after working, I come and give the feedback to the national sales manager. These are my observer. This is what I observe. These are the areas to improve. Do that. So everyone is well aware that I'm exactly updated.
So you would do
taking
random
place.
random
I would do
visits.
that, but that doesn't mean I'll tell go and do national manager, sales manager's job or marketing manager's job. I may not do, but I get into the route, and I think sometimes my focus is greater at the lower level than the managers. But then I allow them to run the show, and whatever the things which are going right, I let them do, and my focus become less. And whatever the weak areas, I get involved more. So that's how I plan myself, because it's not practical when you have 14 business entities under you, different things. It's not practical for you to go with everyone. So whatever weak, whatever need uh, my support, or when something is launched new, this is where I spend my time. And there, of course, I get into the lower level as much as possible with the customer, because at the end of the day, customers will bring in the profits. So I directly get in touch with the customer, and sometimes when I go on the field, I tell them don't even introduce me. I just walk in as one of them, and then do the job and come out. That's what I see in many organizations. A rep is unable to even talk to CEO. Sometimes it's only, it happened to me when I was a medical rep. The only time I get a chance to shake hands with my CEO MD is at the New Year day, where you wish him all the best, or he wish, or then it has to be some conference or something. Even at the conference you want to go. But then that's something I didn't like. And when something I don't like, I don't want others to do that. So here I approach them and I do it. So first barrier is I don't want anybody to call me sir, anybody to call me mister. So you won't believe some of the middle managers, they are called sir and mister. So when I go down and say not to do this, then they are in trouble. I said to break the barrier. I mean, what's end of the day? After all, when I go out, I'm just another human being. What does this? And I am not losing anything.
How would those middle managers take it? I mean,
they may not like it, but then sometimes they gulp it, and those who want to see performance is not a big barrier. So I said, don't call me, call the customers. Sometimes people are more interested in calling the CEO and the top boss, sir, madam, all that. Out there in the customer, you treat them like that. I said, no, change your approach. If you have a problem, you come and treat me a dirt and fight for the customer with me, but then show the due respect to the customer and keep moving there. Those are the things which will give turnaround for organization. Life actually, I don't know whether I have kids, because I married when I was 22, rather early, and 23 I had my son. So at 40 plus, I have a son who is taller than me, who is 18 years, right? He's almost an adult, so I don't know whether I can call him a kid. So I have another daughter who's sitting for the O levels, who's 15, and also I have a third one who is just tiny tot, 2.5 years. So three children, and fortunately or unfortunately, my family is in Candy. So my daily routines, which may be also part of my success. From Monday to Friday, I'm a workaholic and a singer. And my parents who are spending their retired life in Colombo, I'm with them. So I'm a son, a workaholic, not an alcoholic, fully devoted to work during weekends. And every Friday I go up to Candy, and every Monday morning I come back. And that has been my routine for almost the last 19 years. And I'm doing this every weekend, and I'm continuing to do, and I'm still enjoying that. So during weekend, I don't take any work unless and if it's very essential. Of course, the last few six months have been hectic, so I did do take some work, but then that's where I spend my devote my time totally to my family, and those 2 days are entirely for them. But people say you're missing your family, your balance is not right. But then I do evaluate myself against the other managers who are parallel with me in Colombo. One thing I've seen is the 2 days I give them full, and 4 days here. Second thing is I spend quality time with them. I mean, what's the point physically present at home, mentally you're not there, or if you don't give your best. So here, if they are here in Colombo, it will be neither here, neither there scenario with this work and the type, the way I work. I'm really workaholic during weekdays. So, and also the Sri Lanka being the country with so many holidays, so we also manufacture holidays, Thursdays, all day, Friday we do. So I'm very good at it. Those weekends I do tie up and then catch it up later. So my routines are weekdays work and hectic, then weekends family. That's how it had been going on, and I think to a certain extent family also had got used to it. So now they got upset only if I'm not there during a weekend. So my expectation from my wife to children are during the weekdays, including the pet dog. He's also knows that I'm there only during the weekend. So it had become that routine. Yes, not everything. So only thing we have to understand, but almost it's similar operation at home. I mean, even at home, how a successful marriage and a family come, how best you understand. Because like customer, like employees, they also have their expectation. If you can understand and if you can, both parties can live up to the resources that you have, what you have, like organization, whether it's running at a profit or loss. I mean, a family which doesn't have income of say 50,000, if you are trying to spend for 75,000, that's like an organization running at a loss. So if you can understand what are your resources, what are your needs, and if you can live up to that, then if you can have the transparency and if you can have open communication, I mean, that's a successful life. In fact, I always say if you have to have a good working life or a good boss, is a person who has a good family life. I've seen many places when a person doesn't have a good family life, he's a bad boss. He's a bad boss. So you got to have a happy family life. So if I have problem at home, I don't think I'll be working happy here. So you need to be happy at home for you to run a happy business. I think the first inspiration happened when I went for the interview. I started up as a medical rep at Glaxo. I in fact mentioned that in one of my speeches which I made. In my third interview, there was a column which asks, "What do you want to be when you become 40?" And I did mention that I want to become managing director. And in the interview panel, I saw a little bit of sarcasm in one of the members, and that gave me, I mean, look, why cannot be? I mean, if he can do it, why not me? And actually, that was one of the big trigger. I thought I will achieve it one day. So I kept on moving as a medical rep. I know now I have not gone to the university. This is not enough. And I got married early. So the challenges were there, but I know this is not good enough. So I started on my challenges of marketing, say I'm UK, which need to support. I say I know next if I get a junior level management, I need this. So I did that. So I was focused. So there were friends who were there. They used to party when your reps they move outstation, they get together, all that. But I said no, I was focused. I used to go to class. So they had various remarks and various comments to make, but I was focused in what I want to do. So there were instances where I was not even given official mileage as a rep. I used to park my vehicle in Kurunagala, come for classes during the weekend. I was working outstation for my weekend marketing classes. By bus, attend classes, go back Sunday, start up my tour the following day. So I did make sacrifices like that, which helped me to grow what I am today. Then I did my marketing, then came to the middle level management. Then I got stagnated at Glaxo and also good 10.5 years. So I knew this is not going to work. I'm not going to move any further. I took the challenge and people said, okay, be at Glaxo. Glaxo is the place. Then no, the opening came at Hemas to join as a business development manager. Just 1 year and then became the country manager. So I took that call and went there. Then after I went there, I knew this is not enough. I just have the diploma in marketing. I knew this is not good enough. So I thought I should start on my MBA, get into the next level. Then I did the MBA and got progressed in studies there. And then country manager is a good position to get yourself locked. I mean, you can retire in that position, very comfortable job. So why do you want to take it? Then I said, no, this is not enough. I need to keep moving. And this February, when this vacancy come, actually, when the headhunter called me, I thought I'll take it up. It's another challenge because at that time I had another good 14 years to work at the age of 40 plus. So the dream that I had when I was 19, actually, I was able to make it this year. Okay, at that point I said MD, but for me, CEO is a similar capacity of job with equal responsibility. So actually, that was my inspiration, and I most of the time keep myself motivated in achieving what I want to do. I always say have a dream for yourself because your institution, PIM, will have its own vision. Your organization will have its vision. I always ask, do you have a vision for yourself? So have a vision and live it. Number two, be passionate about it. I mean, you need to, just because your father says or just because your teacher says it's going to work. I mean, you need to have that burning desire. I'm going to achieve it. So have that burning desire. Take risk in life. Take calculated risk. Some people are very worried to take. They want to be in the 100% comfort zone. Don't. You can't grow if you're in that comfort. So take that risk, take that calculated risk and go ahead. And then you got to sacrifice. You can't enjoy the tamashas. You can't be with the family and go for classes. If you got to go for classes, you need to sacrifice this. For me, when I did my MBA, I go only home only for the weekends. And 2 years, this Peradini MBA was a full-time course Saturday, Sundays. So 2 years, I just went home to sleep the night. So 2 years I had to make that sacrifice just to get my MBA. So you got to make that sacrifice. So take that risk, make that sacrifice, and most importantly, the integrity part. Okay, you can fool around, but you can't fool yourself. Be true to yourself and do this. I think if you can follow these, sky is the limit. So if I repeat those, have a vision, take calculated risks, be passionate and have that burning desire towards your vision, be true to yourself. Sky is the limit, and I wish all the best to all the students and those who do MBA anywhere in Sri Lanka.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Sayandhan. Thanks a lot
Thanks
for
so
your time.
much.